so happy that you've joined me on another Saturday for another amazing episode. On today's episode, I'm going to be musing about how soon is too soon. This is after a breakup, after a divorce, after a loved one's death. Like, how soon is too soon to move on from that? I'm going to only tell you one story because I don't want this episode to be as long as last Wednesday's was. So I'm just going to tell you one story about something that happened. And from that, you can tell me if this person was doing the right thing or they were wrong, or if they were allowed or right to do what they did. So this is going to be about a death that happened to somebody that I'm not really blood related to, but you know those relatives that you're told this one is your relative, you know you're not blood related, but they're somehow blood related to somebody in your family. And so, and Africans do not like using that word step so, step blah blah, step sister, step brother, step nini. But so it's somebody in my extended family somewhere. So this man, I'm going to call him John. John was married to, let's say, Kate. John was married to Kate, right? And they had a daughter, and they had been living together for a couple of years until Kate was diagnosed with cancer. And so after a while, she dies. As soon as she dies, like even during the burial, this other woman, let's call her Naomi. Naomi comes to the house, and she's the one who's dealing with the friends and family during the funeral. She's taking care of the daughter, and she's heavily pregnant at this point. And so nobody really knows what is happening, but there's a way they're behaving. That is Naomi and John. And so nobody really understands what is happening. After the burial, this woman moves into the house. And later on, we find out that that pregnancy that she was carrying, that baby belongs to John. So she gives birth to a son, and that's how they continued living. That daughter that John had with Kate is taken to a boarding school, and Naomi moves in. I don't know how people reacted, especially Kate's family, because she's not the relative I have. She was the woman who's married to the relative that I have. So I know the side of the family that I come from and how people were talking about the situation, how they were judging him and how they were not happy about what happened and everything. But I do not know what happened to the other side. I know she was sick. Don't get me wrong. Some partners, because we are not in that marriage, I know some partners when they know they are, they're not going to get well and stuff like that, they tell their spouse to, look for love elsewhere, to go and find somebody else that will take care of them and stuff like that. But most people who are in love with their partners, they usually say no, at least until you're gone, because the dying partner will be like, I don't want to leave you alone. I don't want to leave you just our daughter. I want you to be happy. So go out there, find somebody else and be happy. But is it okay for a man to just say yes? Or even if the roles were reversed, is it okay for the woman to just go like, okay, fine, I'll go and find somebody else to replace you before you are even dead? Because this woman, by the time she was coming, Naomi, to the funeral, she was heavily pregnant. And yes, she took care of the guests at the funeral, but still, like, your co-wife has not even rested. She's not even been buried yet. And you're already pregnant and you're here at the funeral. Like, who does that? So how soon is too soon? Would you be okay with that if you were the partner and your husband or whatever, your wife, unfortunately is going, to not be with us after in a short while? Would you be able to just leave them at home, struggling while they're sick? And I think the daughter was already in boarding school when the mom was sick. Yeah, I think she didn't want the daughter to see her, how she was struggling with the illness, towards the end especially. So the daughter was already in boarding school. I haven't seen them in years. I don't even know how the daughter is doing. I don't know how she felt about her mom being replaced just like that. Imagine your mom is not even buried yet, and your dad has already brought another woman, and then kidogo kidogo, you have a little brother in the house that you have to love because he's your brother, and you have to continue respecting your dad because he's your dad, and now you have to respect this other woman because she's the new wife and she's the new mother in that house. Your mom has not even, like, her body has not even cooled yet. How would you feel as the daughter? How would you feel as the wife's family? Because I remember being in that house and I was like, what is this? The last time we were there for a birthday party, and I don't even remember what it was, but I remember the daughter was there. And I just looked at the situation and I was like, no. Because again, as the family, we're supposed to be happy for them, supposed to congratulate them, meet the new boy and be happy because he belongs to us as well. But I was looking at that situation, I was like, if I was the daughter, I would be so effed up. I don't know how I will deal with this entire situation. I don't know if I will ever talk to my dad ever again because what the hell are you doing? My mom has not been dead for 5 freaking hours and you're already bringing another woman. I have to remind myself that it's not something that is happening right now because I'm getting worked up. Because again, how soon is too soon? What would you do if it were you? What would you do? Is that a situation that you'll be okay with? Because y'all, I don't know. I don't know what I will do. I just don't know. I honestly do not know what I will do. And as I said, it's not just like a death. It can be like divorce. You divorce your wife. But okay, divorces might be different because when there's a divorce, like usually you're separated for like maybe a whole year before the divorce is finally through, like finalized. So that one I can understand because through the separation, you're allowed to date somebody else if you want. And I've heard of stories where you are separated for a year or 2 years and then you finally get divorced and within a week you are walking down the aisle getting married to your next person because you met them while you were separated, which was allowed. You dated them while you were separated, which was allowed. And so after that, after the divorce was final, because you're just waiting for the paperwork, you wait for the duration that you are allowed to, depending on the country that you are from. There are countries that you are allowed to get married after 1 week. There are others where you have to wait for a month, 2 months, or three before you get married. So I understand. So immediately that happens, you walk down the aisle. So I think divorce is different because a divorce is a final moment, like finality. A death is as final as a divorce is, but it's different in another way, a very peculiar way, because divorce is final, like, yeah, we grew out of love, we grew our separate ways, you met somebody else, you fell in love, you got married. I'm still maybe holding a candle for you or whatever it is. So maybe I'm waiting or I'm now the person who's supposed to raise our child and I'm not interested in just, running into another person's arms yet. I want to heal and stuff like that. So I can wait. So divorce is different. It's a finality, but it's different from death because death is a finality in the sense that you did not stop being in love with this person. They did not stop being in love with you. You woke up in the house the same day. You kissed each other good morning. You even maybe made love in the morning. You were happy. You had breakfast together. You showered. You took your car, went to work. They took their car, went to work. And then you get a phone call and you are like, hey, there has been an accident. Could you come to this and this hospital? You go there and your partner is in bed on life support or they're already dead. They were pronounced dead on arrival to the hospital or they crashed into another car and they were pronounced dead there and then. So it's final, but in a different way. There's no goodbye. I did not say goodbye. Yes, I said goodbye, but it was not a goodbye like forever. It was a see you later. And now it's later and I'm seeing you, but you're not here. Your body is here, but your soul, the person that makes you mine, the person that makes you you, is not here. And so it's final, but in a very, very different way. A way that says that you are never going to see this person ever again. They're going to be buried in the ground and that's it. So they're the same. They're both final, but they're different as well. One, you never fell out of love. And even if you are nursing somebody who was sick like that one, she had cancer and you are there taking her to hospital, the doctors have told you no, you went for a second opinion, they told you no, third, fourth, fifth, all of them told you no, so you knew. You have been told she has 6 months. And so you have been waiting for these 6 months to come, counting down the days, the months, And then finally, they're no more. What makes sense is that you mourn that person. You mourn the loss that you've suffered. You mourn them. If you have children, you help them get through that situation. You go to therapy if you must. You do everything in your power to grieve this person in the best way possible so that whenever you decide to move on, you will have said goodbye eventually. Whether it takes you months, whether it takes you a year, 2 years, 5, 10. But by the time you're moving on, you have decided finally, I can do this. But this one, funeral, she's dead. There's a pregnant woman there. I don't know about you guys, but for me, that was just too soon. Him meeting her even at the funeral would have still been too soon. Him kissing her a week, a month after that funeral would still have been too soon. I was still young when this was happening. So the conversation was hushed. So I wasn't really part of those conversations. But even I, in my young age, I looked at that situation. I was like, what the? Because what is happening? What is this? How? Yo. So divorce, I can understand you moving on from a divorce. But the separation of it, that's where I'm like, okay, no. If you separate from me today and next week you're already going out on dates, you're already on dating apps, I'll also be like, Nani, kwani you are just waiting for this moment. But then it also depends. Why are we separating? Because if we're separated because you cheated on me, then that's just you. That's something that you are waiting for. You know, it's something that you're doing while you are married. So why not do it while you're separated? So that's okay. Yeah. So that one I'll sort of be like, okay, that's their behavior, it's okay. But separated, why did you separate? Are we separating to see if we can live without each other? You know, like the one that you get told by marriage counselors and stuff. When they tell you, yeah, so I need you guys to go separate for a while, live without each other for a week or 2 weeks or a month, and then come back and let's see. Instead of you taking that time to work on yourself, to figure out what has happened, to figure out where you went wrong, how you used to love this person and you no longer feel the same. Is it that you no longer feel the same, or is it something that they did that made you feel like you don't feel the same? Instead of you working on yourself, you go and start dating somebody else. I feel like that is just too soon. I feel like if I was married to somebody and we came together and you were like, I think we're falling out of love, and we went for therapy and everything, and still it wasn't working, and we sit down and we have a conversation and decide, okay, I think it's better if we separate. We go our separate ways, but we still co-parent and stuff. Even if we have agreed like that and you've had a mature conversation, unless you're a terrible human being, you used to beat me up, used to do a lot of vile things to me, unless you are that kind of person, I don't think I'll be okay seeing you dating after a week or a month or even 2 months of us being separated. I'll have questions. Why are you just waiting for this? Is this why our situation didn't work out because you had already checked out a long time ago? I'll be having questions. Very, very many questions. Another situation is like, you see that I've been dating somebody and then we break up, right? After we break up, I see them with my best friend. Or my best friend comes to me and she goes like, hey, I know you are dating so and so, but then you guys broke up and we met the other day at the mall, or I don't know, at the gym. And we felt like there was something there. And I'm thinking that maybe we could try and see where it goes. So is it okay with you if he and I dated? Because I'm not that person's keeper. I'm not there to keep anybody. I'd be like, yeah, you can date if you want. Because if he likes you and you like him, there's nothing I can do about it. You can't stand in the way of love if that's what you're feeling. So yeah, that's okay with me. But you know what is also okay with me? You and I never going to be friends ever again. Because, yeah, you met him at the mall. While we were going through our relationship, maybe I was telling you things about him. While we were breaking up, I told you things about him. And then you are hooking up with him. When did you realize you like him? At the mall or at the gym? Or did you already like him before? And now that were you just waiting for us to break up? Because those are the questions that will be going through my mind. And because I will not trust any answer you give me, it does not matter how much I loved you. Like, you might have been my best friend. I've known you since we were children. But the moment you do that, my alarm bells will go off and I'll be like, when did you realize that you like this man? My man. Because he was mine. Yes, now we are broken up and everything, but I'm still trying to heal from that. I still need my friend to, go to and bitch about that guy and be like, you know what? Do you remember when I used to tell him this and this? Do you remember how much I used to love him? How can I come and tell you about him like that, knowing that you are the one with him now? How? How can I? Yeah, what? I'm thinking about it and I'm like, no, 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 no. It's crazy, man. It's just so freaking crazy. I don't think I'll be able to do it. Like, to just forgive and forget and just, move on like nothing happened. And equate to sawa sawa, like, yeah, fine. I'm giving you my blessing. You guys be together and I continue being friends with you. There's no day that is going to be the right time for me to be like, okay, sawa. Now I've moved on from him and you and I can continue being friends. So date him. Yeah, it's okay. And then if you have a party, I'm there hanging out with you. If you get married, I'm there hanging out with you. I feel like the only situation where I would allow that is if on the day I met this man, I was with you and maybe we met him at the same time. So maybe I fell for him and you fell for him at the same time. And maybe he thought that he liked me. That one I would be like, okay, fine. We saw him at the same time. We met him on the same day at the same time. So maybe there was something there from the beginning. And maybe it did not work out between him and I because maybe he was getting a vibe, but it wasn't from me. It was from her. But I don't know. Maybe I'm the one who spoke up or something. I'm the one who laughed more to his jokes or whatever. And so he thought, okay, maybe this one likes me more. Or maybe you had somebody at the time, I don't know. There could have been a myriad of things that could have made you and him not click from the beginning. So I think in that situation, I'd be able to go like, you know what? Okay, fine. I understand. But that I feel like is the only situation where I'll be able to understand. Like, I broke up with him and then you guys meet up after 2 days or a week or even a month and you're like, is it okay if we date? I'll be like, okay, sawa sawa. You guys date, but you and I are never going to be friends. I won't even give you an ultimatum like choose between him and me. No, I cannot stand in the way of love. So if you two love each other, well and good, but that's where our friendship is ending because I will never be able to trust you. And how will we even talk about him? Are we supposed to sit and compare notes? Like, so he used to make me like this and used to kiss me like this and he used to do this and now he's doing those things with you, to you. And because you're BFFs and women talk, am I supposed to sit down and listen to you telling me, oh my God, like he kissed me yesterday and I was feeling like I don't know what? You know that thing he does when we are making love? Am I supposed to sit down and listen to that? Or are we supposed to hang out, but I never know about your personal life because I cannot know about your boyfriend because he's my ex? I mean, some things just no, 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 no. So in such a situation, it does not matter how many months, years pass. It will always be too soon for you to do that. Always be too soon. And sometimes it's even your sister, not even your best friend. Like, it's your sister who comes to you and goes like, remember that guy you were dating? Why are you sleeping with the man that I've been sleeping with? Like, why is that something that you want to do? Why? 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 Your sister coming to tell you, like, you know what? I met up with, Nani yesterday. Okay. And yeah, he asked me out for coffee and we go to talking and he wants to see me again. Is that okay? If him and I had only ever gone for a date Nothing had happened between us. We had never kissed, we had never made love, we had never spent time together in any romantic setup. Then that's okay. But if my lips have touched his, if we have shared body fluids, my friend, you are not to date him. I cannot take, like, I won't be able to trust you and I won't be able to see you at all, because if when he is my ex for a reason. I want him to be in my past, there, behind there, rear view. I never want to see him again. But him being in your life, you being my sister, you being my best friend, will mean that he'll forever be there. And if you get married, as I said, that is even going to be worse. Am I supposed to come to a wedding and give a toast? I've seen those things in movies, American movies, and it always disgusts me. I remember on 911 Lone Star, there's this lady who she's a first responder. She's what are they called? EMT, like the emergency people, the ones who go with the ambulances. So this lady, her husband dies. A couple of years later, or was it a couple of months later, the husband's brother comes to visit, and he didn't even show up for the funeral because he couldn't. He was so sad that he couldn't see his brother being buried. But then a couple of whatever later, he comes back and they are talking. They start reconnecting. At first, she was upset with him, but then she forgives him, and then they end up kissing and doing the hanky panky. And she was even considering being with him for real. I was like, what? Does that mean that every time that you and your husband were married, this brother of his, whenever he would come to visit, and actually I think that was the reason why he used to avoid coming to visit, because he had a crush on her. And every time he was around, he felt some type of way. Isn't that a betrayal to the brother? Like, you are interested in my wife. I don't know, guys. I don't know how to think about this. I don't know how to feel about it, but I'm honestly not into it. I'm not, like, do not do that to me. Do not come and tell me that, my brother is already dead and you and I've always had a crush on you. Don't even get close to me like that. I will see it on TV and you can say that I'm a prude if you want to, but I see sometimes and I just feel like ick. Like, it's such an ick that I hate whenever I see a story going that way on a movie or a series that I'm watching. Your late husband's brother, your late wife's sister. Because let's say things work out between the two of you and you end up getting married. Your children, are they calling this man uncle or dad? So, like, this is Uncle so and so, and he's our mom's husband. Why aren't you calling him dad? Because he was our dad's brother. And in the African setting, by the way, he's your dad. Because ni baba mdogo ama baba mkubwa. So, like in my tribe, that's baba mdogo ama baba mkubwa. So, hey, I know. When they have children, are they your brothers and sisters or are they your cousins? Nani, I don't care. I know it's not incest in this way that incest is supposed to be, but it still feels incestuous to me because no. No, 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 no. Like, no, that one, again, even 10 years is too soon for you to be with with your late husband's brother. It's still too soon. With your late wife's sister, it's still too soon. Even after a million years, it's still too soon. But anyway, I think I'm going to leave it at that. As I said, I don't want this to be too long. It was just a short thing that I thought about. I was in the house and I just remembered the story for that relative of mine whose wife died, and then he replaced her. No sooner has she died, and he replaced her. She hadn't even been buried, man. And she was struggling, she was sick, and this man was going and doing the hanky-panky with another woman in another place. And the moment the wife dies, this woman comes and she's pregnant, and she's the one taking care of guests and everything, as if she's the owner of this house. I don't know, but I don't know their story. Maybe they had even met before she died. Maybe he had introduced them, Maybe they knew each other. Maybe she gave the go ahead. She was like, yeah, I'd like you to be my husband's wife after I'm gone. Maybe that's what had happened. But still, even if I was given that option by my husband, I think I'd be like, no. Because you have to mourn them, right? They are dying, you have to be by their side. They die, you mourn them. You take time to mourn. But I'd rather even if you just take 6 months, because death is death. Especially if you are nursing this person and they were sick, you have mourned them a million times before they were actually dead. So by the time they are gone, you have gone through the grief process. And them dying is actually now the final part. You bury them, you take your time. So I can understand 6 months. I can understand 1 year if somebody was sick. But if they got into an accident, just, something out of nowhere, that one I will not understand if you move on after 6 months. I will not. I will not. Take your time to grieve. Honestly, take it. So yeah, how soon is too soon for you? Tell me in the comment section down below. Tell me on Instagram when I post this. Tell me on TikTok. I don't know when I'll be posting there. Again, I don't know, but follow me on Instagram and follow me on TikTok. Mimi's Musings Podcast. Remember that I still bake, so make your orders. And remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so whenever I upload something new, you're going to be amongst the first people to come and watch. Okay?